Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the hidden mechanics of long-term wealth. We're pulling right from our source material to break down exactly what separates the folks who build wealth, like effortlessly, from those who spend their entire lives just chasing it.
Now, before we really get going, I need you to just stop for a second. Yeah, really look at this. Give this concept your absolute full attention for the next few minutes. Why? Because what we're about to cover, it honestly has the potential to completely rewire how you think about your financial future, and more importantly, the everyday choices you're making right now.
So the source material challenges us right out of the gate with a pretty stark reality. Exactly 5 years from now, your life is either going to look completely different or it's going to look exactly the same. And here's the kicker, the deciding factor. It's not luck, it's not talent, it isn't even about working harder or waiting for some massive, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Turns out, the biggest financial mistake most of us make actually has absolutely nothing to do with money at all.
All right, let's dive right into part one, the great financial lie, or the traditional script.
You know the drill, right? We're all taught the exact same script. Study hard, get a job, and work for 40 years. But look at the massive contrast here between that trap, trading your finite time for money, and how wealthy people actually operate through ownership. I mean, the traditional script completely ignores the fact that the cost of living just keeps going up. Rent climbs, bills get bigger, and if you're only trading your time for dollars, well, you're playing a game that mathematically just runs out.
See, the wealthiest people don't just work for money. Instead, they acquire assets. And I'm talking about the kind of assets that generate income while they are literally asleep. Things like businesses, stocks, real estate, intellectual property. This kind of ownership is the true engine of wealth creation, simply because it completely uncouples your income from the limited hours you have in a day. It's a total game changer.
Which brings us to part two, why people stay broke, which is the behavioral trap.
The text reveals a huge misconception here. Income isn't actually the biggest reason people stay broke. Actually, scratch that. It's almost never the core reason. The real culprit? It's our behavior. Most of us falsely believe that if we just got a raise or landed a higher-paying job, boom, all our financial struggles would magically vanish. But as the source material proves, that is rarely the actual problem.
And this right here perfectly illustrates that trap. The exact moment more money comes in, more money goes right back out. Let's say someone is earning $5,000 a month. They can easily stay broke because that extra income gets instantly swallowed up by lifestyle creep. You know how it is, a nicer car, endless online shopping, a dozen new subscriptions, and just like that, the big raise completely disappears, and the stressful cycle just restarts all over again next month. Meanwhile, someone making $500 a month with the right habits could actually be building wealth.
Contrast that with the wealthy mindset. When their income increases, it triggers a highly disciplined sequence. They buy assets first, before any liabilities. They are intensely focused on their future freedom over some temporary pleasure today. See, their lifestyle isn't the first thing that gets an upgrade when they make more money. Their investments do. And honestly, this isn't about raw intelligence or having some fancy degree. It's just a fundamentally different way of thinking.
Moving on to part three, the power of compounding, which is really the secret force.
Okay, imagine two people starting at the exact same point in life. One decides to invest, while the other decides to wait. Now, looking at this timeline, that gap starts out totally invisible. In year one, the person who's learning and investing doesn't really look any better off than the person waiting for the quote-unquote perfect moment. But fast forward to year 10, the gap is massive. By year 20, their lives are literally unrecognizable from one another. That is the compounding effect in action.
And the source text really hammers home that this compounding effect isn't just about money. It applies to literally everything. The skills you learn, your physical health, your business acumen, your personal relationships, they all operate on this exact same principle of compounding growth. Those small daily efforts stack on top of each other, and then they accelerate massively over time.
I absolutely love this quote from the source. Success is rarely the result of one giant decision. It's usually the result of thousands of small decisions repeated consistently. It's such a great reminder that winners aren't just relying on one big, lucky move. They just keep going long enough for the process to actually work. Most people throw in the towel way too early because they want year 20 results on day 2. But real success is built quietly, through thousands of those consistent micro-decisions.
So let's look at part 4, the motivation trap, and how we go about overcoming this psychological hurdle. Look at the stark contrast here between relying on motivation versus relying on discipline. Motivation depends entirely on your fleeting feelings. It changes every single day. Discipline, though, is rooted in firm decisions. Think about it for a second. How many times have you felt intensely motivated for, say, exactly one day, or maybe a week before that feeling totally vanished? The text points out pretty clearly that motivation is incredibly overrated.
Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. It's an uncomfortable truth, right? Successful people don't wait until they feel motivated or ready to act. They start way before they feel ready. If you're only putting in the work on the days you actually feel like it, there's no way you'll build the momentum required for that massive compounding effect we just talked about. Discipline is the anchor that holds you steady when that initial spark of excitement fades.
So, what does discipline actually look like? Well, it's defined by doing specific, difficult things over and over again, regardless of your mood. It means opening a book and learning when you are absolutely exhausted. It means funneling cash into your investments while everyone else around you is blowing their money on temporary stuff. It's making the hard choices, working when nobody is watching.
Let's wrap this up with part 5. Your future starts today. This is the ultimate choice.
Whether you realize it or not, your future is being quietly built in the background, right this second, by every single daily choice you make. The videos you watch, the books you're reading, the skills you are or aren't learning, the people you surround yourself with. It all adds up. If you were to meet your 5 years in the future self today, would they thank you for the habits you're building right now? Or would they ask why on earth you waited so long to take control?
Success doesn't just appear overnight. It grows quietly in the background until one day everyone just calls it luck. Outsiders aren't going to see your years of discipline. They won't see how you rejected lifestyle creep or how you chose assets over liabilities every single day. They're just going to see the sudden, massive gap in your results and assume you got lucky.
So, looking 5 years down the road, the text asks us to honestly confront a tough question. Will you still be making the exact same excuses? Because 5 years from now, you'll still be here. That much is practically guaranteed. But the actual quality of that life, that is entirely up to what you decide to do next.
The future doesn't belong to the smartest, and it definitely doesn't belong to the luckiest. It belongs to those who start today. So I'll leave you with this final, powerful question to ponder. Will you become the person who decided to act while everyone else just kept waiting? Look at this explainer as the moment everything started to shift. Your future is watching. Let's make it proud.